audible? Just to confirm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. It's really an honor and pleasure to join in here. Very good afternoon to all of you who are present here. And thank you so much for attending this lab session and giving your precious time. I thank you all for giving your time to me. And to begin with the lab session, this will be basically a lab session, as I was asked to showcase some of the implementation of IoT-based application. So, as the topic suggests and as the topic says on this slide, this lab session will be based on implementing some Internet of Things protocols using Raspberry Pi. So, basically, we will be using a Raspberry Pi board, and we will try to see how we can implement some of the IoT protocols um, using this Raspberry Pi board. So, just to ask, I mean, do we have people here who has Raspberry Pi boards along with them? I mean, just to yeah, just to know if you any, I mean, if any of you have these Raspberry boards with you. Uh, just a second, I cannot see the message screen. Okay, okay, okay,
We do
okay.
not have the
So
board. We do not have the board right now. But since we had worked in this area and we have implemented some products as well.
okay, sir. Okay, okay. So fundamentally, I will try to go very step by step on how we can start with the Raspberry Pi first, and then we will see how we can implement a basic algorithm or basic protocol on this Raspberry Pi board. Okay, sir. So let me begin with uh, let me begin with by reiterating some of the snapshots of the presentation. Uh, these are the snapshots of the presentation slides from the very first session, that is session 1 and session 2 of day 1 of this FDP program, and which was definitely taken by Professor Emmanuel Pillai. So in those sessions, he has very much explained in detail about the protocol and protocol stacks which are used in IoT system. So the reason I am referring to his slides is so that we can relate. I mean, what he has nicely explained theoretically, and which part from his explanation we are going to implement in this lab session, right? So using wireless devices. So as we can see from this, let me just take a pointer. Yeah. So as we can see from this slide in this, we will try to implement this particular protocol of this application layer. So we will try to implement MQTT on Raspberry Pi boards. Okay. So this will be our objective of this lab session. We will try to implement this MQTT application layer protocol. So that was the purpose of just putting up some of the snapshots from his, so that we can relate his theoretical, our theoretical understanding with how we can model and how we can implement this protocol on Raspberry Pi and actual hardware. Okay, so let me give you a brief description of what is this MQTT. It is message queuing telemetry transfer, and MQTT is well suited for applications like machine to machine and IoT devices for purposes such as real-time analytics and monitoring in environments including smart homes, healthcare, logistics, and etc. So, so basically, this MQTT protocol surrounds two subject line, a client and a broker. As we can see in this figure, we have a MQTT broker, and these remaining are the clients actually. So all the connected devices are the clients, and we can see a MQTT broker here. So let's say if we have a client, or a client can be any sensor, and if we want to send some data from a client to a particular machine to another particular device at some remote location. So what we can do is we can publish to this the data what we have at this humidity sensor, we can publish to this broker, which is a server, And the clients which require this data, which has been published by this sensor, they can actually subscribe to this broker, and then this broker will submit or publish that data on a particular topic to those required devices, and that information we can use for different analytics or different purposes we can use. So this is the overall architecture of how this MQTT works. So basically, in short, this actually works on publish and subscribe mechanism. So a sensor will publish data, and the clients will subscribe to that server, and then this data will be published. Okay, so fundamentally, this is a publish and subscribe mechanism which is controlled by a broker. And what is broker here? Broker is a software component. It is responsible for distributing messages from publishers to interested subscribers. So this is the idea, what we are trying to implement in this workshop today. So this is a fundamental of how we can uh, uh, transmit data from one device or from one machine to another machine using MQTT. Okay, so just to add on about something more about this MQTT. So it's actually a many-to-many subscriber to publisher. It follows many-to-many subscriber to publisher relationship, and we have a one broker for every system. Each subscriber can be authenticated to the broker, and they can be a constrained relationship between a subscriber and a publishers. So we can see like each sensor can publish its data on different topic. So what is this topic here is topic, we can understand at something like a different channels. Okay, so we can have a different topics for different sensors. So let's say if we have 5 sensors out here, we can have different topics for each sensor, and this MQTT broker can handle all the 5 sensors at different topics. And the clients which require particular information from a particular sensor, they can actually subscribe to that particular topic, and that particular topic data will be published to that client. So for example, let's say if this is a temperature sensor, so this is publishing data on temperature topic. Okay, and this is a laptop which is a client, or which is another device which wants to read this temperature data. So what it will do, it will actually subscribe to this temperature topic, and this temperature data will be published to this laptop or this user, and then it can use this information for its own purpose wherever he wants to, any analytics, or they can reproduce this data, or they can show it on any app or whatever. So similarly, if we have a mobile device, we can subscribe to this topic, and we can have a publisher data. I mean, we can publish data on top of it. So this is the idea behind MQTT. I just wanted to discuss this so that when we start implementing this, it will be very clear as to what we are trying to do in this lab session. So this is the overall architecture and overall objective of this lab session, what we are trying to do in this. So as we have seen in this slide, we have a MQTT broker, and we have a three devices separately. So what we are going to do here is we will use a Raspberry Pi as a subscriber, we will use a laptop as a publisher, and we will use another Raspberry Pi as a broker. And we'll see how we can transmit data from one device to another device. So this is the objective of this lab session. So in this lab session, we have two components. We will start with how we can get familiarized with the Raspberry Pi. I understand there are many people who might be familiarized with Raspberry Pi, but there might be many people who are not accustomed with the Raspberry Pi, how we can use this Raspberry Pi board. So in totality, we will have 3 devices, 2 Raspberry Pis, or it can be 1 Raspberry Pi and 1 laptop. But since we have 2 Raspberry Pis, so I can use 2 Raspberry Pi. One, it will be a subscriber, one will be a broker, and then a laptop, I will use it for a publisher. So what I will do is I will publish a data from a laptop, and which will be received at the Raspberry Pi, any of the Raspberry Pi, and will be controlled by the broker. So these are the two fundamental steps which we will try to implement in this session. So what are the hardware and software required during the lab session? These are the components which are required while implementing these things. So we will require a Raspberry Pi board. We require a laptop and a micro SD card, because this Raspberry Pi, the operating system which you install on a Raspberry Pi is basically uh, we have to install it in a micro SD card. And then we need a card reader just to read this micro SD card, and mini USB cable also is required to power on the this Raspberry board. So these are some of the hardware, and in addition to this, we will also install some open source software which are available on internet, and we can just install them, and we will see how we can implement this MQTT by installing some open source available software, uh, and see how we will transmit information or data from one sensor to another sensor, or in other words, we can say from one machine to another machine. So just to give you a brief introduction or brief idea of what is this Raspberry Pi. This is a low cost and a very small size, something like something like credit size card computer, and it is like a powerful compact computer that can be used to create a number of projects. So as you can read in here, we have a quad core 1.2 gigahertz Broadcom 64-bit CPU here, and then we have somewhere around 40 pin extended general purpose input output pins here, and we have some 4 USB ports here, we have a LAN port here, we have a port for a CSI camera, we also have an HDMI video output which can connect this machine directly to your computer screens or monitors. Then we have a micro USB power input, and then we have a display port, some micro SD card slot. This is very important because this whole device, this Raspberry Pi, when you install an operating system, you need to put a micro SD card inside it. I mean, you have to install an operating system on this micro SD card, and then you can start using this Raspberry Pi. So the problem with this board is you cannot directly connect this to the laptop. I mean, it's not a plug and play device. So if you want to use, you have to use either a TTL to USB converter cable, or you have to use some other modes, like you have to connect it using Wi-Fi or somewhere like that. So one way is you can use a TTL to USB cable, which can connect the transmitter receiver pins, and then you can connect it into the laptop, and then you can access this this board actually. But it's not like that. You can directly connect it to a wire and plug into the your system, and you can see its terminal. It's not like that. It's not that straightforward, although it is very easy, but not that straightforward. So what I've done in further slides, I will first explain you how we can start using this board by giving you step-by-step procedure. So even if you don't have Raspberry Pi boards, and those who are not familiar with this board, they can actually visit these slides again one by one, step by step, and they can actually follow, and they can try to make their own, and they can try to get familiarized with this board. So in order to start this Raspberry Pi, what we need immediately, I mean, if let's say if we have a Raspberry Pi board, so this is one of the Raspberry Pi board, which you all can see here. It's a very small board, something like a credit card size. And what you require is, yeah. So yeah, I'm coming on to that. I just came to know somebody asked some question. I'm coming to it. So it's actually you have to install a Linux into it. So I will come to that point. Yeah, I'm giving you a step-by-step procedure as to how you can use this Raspberry Pi. So this is it's no software is installed as of now in this board. I mean, when you purchase this board from the market, nothing is installed, right? So we have a micro SD card here, as you all can see. This is a micro SD card here. You have to you have to manually install an operating system. You have to put an operating system into this micro SD card. And if you plug in this micro SD card inside this card reader, I mean, inside this Beagle, I mean, Raspberry Pi, then this board will have an operating system. And just to make sure here that you cannot load Windows operating system. It is only Linux based device, and you can only install a Linux based operating system. I will tell you each step how you can install these operating system in this, and then you can start, and you can actually see a window like a computer. This itself is a computer, as you already discussed in the previous slide. You can even run I mean, audio, videos, and I will show you all those things. I mean, how you can browse through in this with this particular device. Even if you don't have a laptop, even you just have a screen and you don't have a CPU, you can use this for basic purpose. You can browse through, you can even use Netflix in this, and you can do a lot of things. This is a very powerful computer in itself. So what are three things which you require to immediately start using it? One is a SD card, one is this Raspberry Pi board, and of course a USB power cable, just to power it up. So these are the three things. And in order to read this card, you will definitely require a card reader. I mean, some card reader which you can plug it into your computer. So and this all you require for the first time. I mean, once you load operating system on this micro SD card and you plug in, then this Raspberry Pi will be ready to use. It's ready to use, right? So these are the three things which you require at the first hand in order to use this Raspberry board. So what is the first step we require in this? So we have to set up this SD card, right? So this is an empty SD card, and we need to set up an operating system in this SD card. So which is that operating system? Usually it is a Raspbian operating system. Okay, so we will install a Raspbian operating system on this USB card. So what you are seeing on your screen is the link from where you can download this operating system. And these are some of the steps where you can download this, right? So somewhere around 2.5 GB. So it's somewhere around 2.5 GB, and you can just download the zip version of this file, and you can keep it ready on your computer. I mean, whenever you do it on your system, you can just follow the steps. So this is a step number one, which is visible on the screen, right? So the step one is, when you buy a Raspberry Pi board, you have to have a micro SD card, and this is how you will start using this Raspberry board. So you have to install an operating system on this first, right? So once you download the Raspberry Pi operating system from the link as shown on the slide, you will be able to, okay, so this is the step one. So let me just go in on presenter mode. Okay, okay, just yeah. So let me just minimize my screen so that I can show you different things here. Okay, so we were at this step. So once you have this downloaded, so it will look something like this. Okay, so once you download this, it will look something like this. So this is an image file of an operating system. Okay, so this file we have to load in our Raspberry Pi SD card. This SD card, we have to load this file in this SD card. Okay, so this is an image file which you can download from your from the link provided, and then you have to install it in your Raspberry Pi. So next step is how you can install this in a card. This card, of course, you need to have some SD card formatter tool. You can use disk imager. Yeah, Amit sir, I am telling you how. This is the next slide what you just asked. Yeah, I will tell you each step. That's why I said once you follow. Yeah, yeah, Amit sir. Yeah. So this is the step. This is the step how you can load your uh, image into the disk formatter. Okay. So you have to download Windows 32 disk imager. So I have just opened it for you. Let me open how it looks like. Okay, so this is how this, once you download this window, so these are all open source, freely available software which you can download easily. And if you download this Window Disk 32 imager, right, you all can see this is a Windows. Can you all see my screen? Parikshit sir, can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, Ankush sir.
Okay. Yeah, so this is how you can load your image, operating system image, to this micro SD card. So once you plug your micro SD card, you can see a drive here, right? So this drive, because I have already plugged in one of the micro SD card to my computer, so that's why it is showing you this. Okay, so once you do this, this is how it will appear. And when you select this, you can actually take this file, the file which you have downloaded from the Raspbian. This is an image file which I just showed you in the previous slide. Okay, so this is the file. You can just open it and it will be available here. So now my image is ready to be written on this D in the device. Okay, so what is this D? This is this, when you just plug in, it will automatically detect your micro SD card. And when you go to the right here, I'm not clicking on write because it will take around 10 minutes. So I have already loaded the image on my this SD card. But the steps are, if you click on write here, right, then it will. So these are the snapshots. Immediately when I click on write, these are the snapshots. So this is a snapshot 1, this is a snapshot 2, and this is the snapshot 3. So when you click on write, you will get some screen like this, right? And when you just click on yes, it will take some time. It will take 10 minutes because it's a 2.5 GB image file. So it will take somewhere around 7 to 8 minutes. And then it will say write successful. So which means your image is properly burnt on this image, on this file. So these are the steps I'm telling you to how you can use this disk, how you can load your Raspberry Pi operating system on this micro SD card. Okay, so these are the steps for that. I'm not going to click on write because I have already loaded these, just to save time. Okay, but this is how it looks like. You have to press write button in order to load it. Okay, so now my operating system is ready on this micro SD card. Okay, now another problem with this Raspberry Pi board is, even if you insert this micro SD card and you provide a power supply to it, you cannot access it because it's a Unix system, right? You need to have something in order to access it, right? So there are definitely a lot of mechanisms by which you can. One is you can use TTL to USB cable and you can directly connect it, and then you can use the terminal and you can access this. But it's difficult to have this TTL to USB. So in order to avoid that, what I'm trying to use is I will try to use a mobile phone in order to access this Raspberry Pi. Okay. So at this stage, what are the things which are ready? We have an operating system which is ready on this micro SD card. Now the next step is, what I am going to do is I am going to configure a Wi-Fi on this micro SD card pre-hand. I will configure pre-hand and then I can use this Raspberry Pi board wirelessly. Okay, I can just use it from the Wi-Fi, right? Just no need for any connection from this Raspberry board to your computer, and then I can use it remotely. I mean, this Raspberry Pi can be used remotely from any computer connected in that network. Okay, so that's the idea in the next coming slides. Okay, so what are the steps for that? So let me reiterate. What I am trying to do is I'm trying to configure Raspberry Pi, and I'm trying to connect Raspberry Pi to hotspot or Wi-Fi. Okay, so I need to insert two files in this micro SD card. At this stage also, I mean, at the slide number 11 of my screen, I have not yet connected my micro SD card to Raspberry Pi. Okay, I will tell you in step by step. So now at slide number 11, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to configure some files in this micro SD card so that my board is accessible wirelessly. Okay, either using a hotspot network or Wi-Fi network. If you have any Wi-Fi connection, you can definitely use that Wi-Fi connection to access it remotely. What remotely? You can access this computer, this mini Raspberry Pi, which is a computer remotely. Okay, so those are the steps I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to explain now here from slide number 11. So what we have to do in order to configure this micro SD card or Raspberry Pi with Wi-Fi network, right? What I will do, I will create two files. One is this with this name, okay, right? And I will just write in some of the code here. What is this code? This is the username of my hotspot, and this is the password of my hotspot. So I will create a word this a simple word file, I mean WordPad file, and I will give it a name WPA supplicant.configure file, which will be a configure file for this Wi-Fi access. And I will just copy these two files, and another file will be just SSH. This is a blank file, just name it SSH, okay? And I will copy these two files in this file, in this micro SD card. Now the question will be, sir, how we can copy these two files? So for that, I have actually opened the file, how you can do these two steps, okay? So let me now try to show you slide number 11, how we can do this slide number 11. So now what is visible on your screen is the content of this micro SD card. And what is this content? This is after we load image file. What is that image file? Image file was for an operating system, okay? So once we load the image file, this is what is, you can see the D drive, and this is actually this micro SD card. I have connected another micro SD card to my computer, and you can see all the files. So these are all the files of that operating system. That is a Raspbian operating system image file, which we had just now discussed in our previous slides, okay? So in order to explain you slide number 11, we have to copy these two files. And what are these two files? Basically, these two files contain information of my hotspot. Okay, that is a username and password. Why I am doing that? Let me cite it again. I am doing that in order to configure my Raspberry Pi so that once I put it and once I connect it to the power cable, it gets automatically connected to my Wi-Fi network. Okay, and then I can read its IP address. So that's the idea of doing this step number. This step which is on slide number 11. Okay, so I'll copy these two slide I'll copy these two files, WPA supplicant.config and empty file. Let me also show you what this file looks like and how it looks like. So you can see this file. This is nothing, just a Word file, and I've just changed the extension to config file. So you can just create any text file, and you can just change the extension to configuration file. Okay, you just put .conf, it will be converted automatically to its configuration file. So when I open this file, what is visible is this. Okay, so this is a set of code which I just now showed you on the screen. So this is the set of code which I will copy in WPA supplicant.configure file, and I'll keep it on my computer. Okay, so that's one thing. And another thing is I will have a blank SSH file. I just have to rename it as SSH. Okay, so these are the steps to configure a Wi-Fi. Okay, and what I will do is I will just select these two files. I will just copy these files, and I will paste this file in this file. Okay, so I think I am clear what is this file is. This file is the micro SD card content. Okay, so I just need to paste this file. So you can see I have just copy pasted these two files as a part of step number 4, right? So we have basically 4.1, 4.2 and 4.3. Sorry, this is 4.3. Yeah. Okay, so we have completed step number 11. We have copy pasted these two. We have created this file and we have copy pasted these two files. Now my SD card is ready with the operating system, and my SD card is also ready to connect, to automatically gets connected to a hotspot network whose username is ASDF and whose password is 1234567 8. Okay, you can have your own choice and you can give it accordingly. You can definitely change this username and password as per your own Wi-Fi settings. Okay, so these are the two functionalities which now I have in my, I will show you how it will get connected to the hotspot. Okay, so for creating a hotspot, it's very simple. I don't need anything. I need Android phone. You can see an Android phone, and what I have done here is I have just created a hotspot. You can all see the screen. The hotspot is created with the name ASDF and with the password 1234567 8. So I have simply created a hotspot. So as soon as I will plug in the Raspberry Pi board and I will uh, start that Raspberry Pi board, it will get connected with this mobile phone, which is just a hotspot, which is just a access point, right? You can also create access point with your own devices. Either you can use another Raspberry Pi or you can use BeagleBone Black or whatever means you need. Also, you can connect directly to your Wi-Fi if you are at home. So I have created this hotspot network and with the name ASDF on my this mobile phone and with the password as mentioned in the slide number 11. So these are the steps. So now my Raspberry Pi is ready. My data card is ready to insert the SD card. I mean, the SD card is ready to be inserted in the Raspberry Pi. So what I will do is I will simply, okay, I will use the one which I have copied now. Let me just check my, okay. Yeah, so this is my another SD card with the card reader. So I will just plug it out from the card reader. And what I'm doing is I am putting this Raspberry, I am putting this SD card in this Raspberry Pi. Okay, this is how you have to insert. So this is how you have to insert. Now this Raspberry Pi is ready with the operating system plus a Wi-Fi connectivity. When I insert this card in the Raspberry Pi, right? Still, it is not because it is not running because I am not power in the power to it. So I will use a power cable and I will just connect Raspberry Pi with the power cable. Okay, so you can see it started blinking now. Okay, so once it boots, it will take that SSH file and it will do its processing, its own processing, and I should see this device on my mobile phone where I am providing the hotspot. Okay, so now this Raspberry Pi is ready to be used. So let me see if I can see my, yeah. So once this is ready, you can see this Raspberry Pi is visible here on my screen of this hotspot access point. Okay, so you can see these two devices. One is my laptop actually and another one is this Raspberry Pi, which gets in here as soon as I plug in the power cable to this Raspberry Pi. Okay, so if you just click on this, I mean, you can see the IP address. You can see the IP address. So it is also visible on screen number 12 of your of this the screen I have shared. So you can read the IP address. So this IP address is that of this device, which is my Raspberry Pi. Okay. So now once you have the IP address of this Raspberry Pi and it is connected to this hotspot network, you can access it from the devices which are connected to this hotspot network. Okay. What do I mean? Let's say this Raspberry Pi is connected to this hotspot network, right? And my computer is also connected to this hotspot network. So I can access this Raspberry Pi from my computer now remotely. Okay. So you can see this screen. You can see that's all we require to connect this Raspberry Pi. we don't need any external cable in order to communicate with this Raspberry Pi from my laptop. Okay, so now this computer, this Raspberry Pi, which now I can term it as a computer, is a mini computer. This is ready to be accessed, right? Okay, so now at this stage, we have got the Raspberry Pi IP address, right? You can read the Raspberry Pi IP address from the screens also. Okay, so we will use this IP address and we will see further how we can access this Raspberry Pi and how we can actually see the screen. I mean, I will show you how you can see the screen of this Raspberry Pi. You will definitely see a screen like a Unix system for this Raspberry Pi. You can remotely access this Raspberry Pi and you can actually use this like a normal computer from your laptop. I will, so now in further slides, I will show you how you can access this Raspberry Pi. Now, once this Raspberry Pi is ready, you can just keep it, and now we will see how we will use it from our laptop. And this hotspot network is still on, right? So we can connect as many devices as we want, right? So let's say I have another Raspberry Pi. I will follow the similar procedure from slide number 3 to slide number 12, and I can create another Raspberry Pi, right? Similarly, I can create so many Raspberry Pis, and I can connect a network of Raspberry Pi, and then um, this is the step one, and then we will see how we can transmit data from one Raspberry Pi to another Raspberry Pi, or from one Raspberry Pi to a computer, right? So that's the idea. Okay, so I hope it is clear until this part. Definitely once you do this, it will be more clearer. But as far as I can understand, I have tried to simplify the slides step by step, so that even if you follow it remotely, you can try to make this network, right? Even if you follow these 20 slides or somewhere around that, you can make your own system, and then you can build on top of it, right? So that's the idea. Okay, so now my Raspberry Pi 1 is ready. I have another Raspberry Pi also, which I will do it later on. So Raspberry Pi 1 is ready, and this hotspot is also ready. So what is the third step, and what is the different next task? Let me try to change the screen. Okay. So now, since the Raspberry Pi is ready, we need to see how we can get started with Raspberry Pi. Okay, get started means how we can actually access the operating system, right? As of now, we cannot access. We just have operating system inside this Raspberry Pi now. The Raspberry Pi board is ready, but now the step is at slide number 13. We would like to see how we can actually access this Raspberry Pi. Okay, so there is a software. Something called putty, right? So what we can do, we can all install this software, and it is easily available, right? We don't have to we don't have to pay. It's an open source. So let me try to show you how we can access this Raspberry Pi now. So now I have the IP address of this Raspberry Pi. So step number 7 is we will download, and 7.1 says we will download and install putty software on your PC. Okay, so you can go on this link putty.org, and you can just download this software, right? It is just a software to SSH into the devices. It's not just Raspberry Pi. You can use this putty software for accessing different, to do SSH and different things, right? So I have already installed this putty software. For those who are doing hands-on along with me, they can definitely install that. So it looks something like that, right? It looks something like this. I have also put the snapshots of each step in order, if in case you try, when you have the hardware later on after this presentation, or after this lab session, you can follow the snapshots and you can try accessing, right? But the important thing to understand here is we are now trying to access the Raspberry Pi. Okay, so what we have done so far, let me just repeat it once. We have a Raspberry Pi board. We have a fresh Raspberry Pi board. We need a micro SD card in order to install an operating system into a micro SD card. And we have seen the steps how we can install an operating system into a micro SD card, right? And the step number 2 was how we can configure our Raspberry Pi to a Wi-Fi network or any hotspot network, right? What is the reason behind doing that step? So that I can read the IP address, right? And I can access my Raspberry Pi remotely. I can access my Raspberry Pi from any system, right? Once I know the IP address of that system, right? So step number 3 was I have noted down the IP address from this mobile hotspot network, which can be visible on Android, any Android phone. So as shown in the snapshot, also in slide number 12. Okay. So now once I have the IP address, okay, so let me just read the IP address of my Raspberry Pi. It is, okay, I think it's 192.168.43.195. So this is the IP address of my Raspberry Pi. So what I will do, I will just write this here, 192. Yeah, so where I'm writing this, I'm writing this in a PuTTY software. Okay, so 192.168.43.95. So this is the IP address of my Raspberry Pi. So why I'm doing this is I'm trying to access the Raspberry Pi. I'm trying to access the operating system of my Raspberry Pi. Okay, so once I do that, okay, I think this is not the IP address of this because I have two connected, 143. Okay, 145 is the IP address. Okay, let me okay, so yeah, so once I click on it, you will see a screen like this, as you can also see on the snapshot. Okay, so this is the snapshot of this screen. I mean, what I'm trying to do, I've just put in the IP address in a PuTTY software like this, and I got something like this. So when I click on yes, it will ask me to give the login credentials of the Raspberry Pi. Let me just note down the IP address of this. Okay. So the screen which is visible to you is of the Raspberry Pi now. This is terminal window. So it is asking me the login username of Raspberry Pi. So usually it is Pi. Pi is the username, and is also asking for the password. So the Raspberry is the password, RASPBERRY. Yeah. So now I am logged to my Raspberry Pi board. So the screen, this screen, which is visible to you, this black screen, is that of Raspberry Pi. So on my computer, I can access this Raspberry Pi. I will also show you for those. So yeah, so let me explain you here. Since this is not a Windows operating system, so you will not, it will not be visible like Windows OS or something like that. So this is a Unix based system. So this is one way how you can access this. So those who are familiar of Unix system, they definitely know how to work on this command prompt and all, right? But for those who want to see Raspberry Pi as a computer, right, I will definitely show you how you can see Raspberry Pi as a computer, like how you can see it as an actual screen, like you see for Windows operating system. Definitely it will not be a Windows operating system, it will be a Linux system, but I will show you the screen also. So this is, so in order to show this Raspberry Pi screen on your system, we need to follow some steps, right? So we have to follow those steps from here. Okay. So now I can access from the terminal. So first you have to access the terminal and you have to change the settings of this Raspberry Pi board, right? And after changing those settings, you can access this Raspberry Pi remotely from any computer by just providing in the IP address, right? So what are those steps that will be covered in the coming slides? So slide number 13 was how you can access the terminal screen of this Raspberry Pi, right? So as you can see the snapshot here, this is how it looks like, right? So this is how I am trying to uh, use the Raspberry Pi terminal screen, right? And I will do certain changes on this Raspberry Pi. Now, whatever I do on this black screen, the changes I am doing on Raspberry Pi, Okay, it's not my computer or my laptop screen. This is my Raspberry Pi screen, right? So now whatever I write here, whatever files are available here, these are of the Raspberry Pi operating system and not my computer or my laptop. Okay. So in the coming slides, I will try to show you the mechanism how you can actually see the display of this Raspberry Pi, right? On your computers. Okay. So let me go on another on different slide, right? So we will just change some of the screen resolution, and then we will see how we can see the Raspberry Pi. So let me just show you let me just show you the how the screen will look like, just to give you some intuition pre-hand as to what we are doing, right? So this is how this Raspberry Pi will look like on your computer, right? Once you do the remote connection, so this will look like as a simple computer, right? So this is a Raspberry Pi screen. So that's what we are actually trying to uh, obtain now, right, in the coming slides, right? So we are at this step. I can now access my Raspberry Pi without connecting it to any computer, without connecting it any wire, right? So how I am able to access this using this IP address, because this Raspberry Pi is connected to my hotspot network. Okay, so I'm trying to connect this Raspberry Pi wirelessly. Okay, so I hope I hope I mean people are able to follow me here, and I hope I'm going very slow, and I hope so far what I have explained is clear to most of the people here. So basically, what I'm explaining is how you can access this Raspberry Pi board, right? Because it's not very straightforward to access. Of course, there is one more method how you can access this straightforward. You can just have a HDMI cable. You can use the HDMI port here, which is available on this Raspberry Pi board. You can see the HDMI cable here, right? You can see the HDMI port, and you can directly connect it to the any monitor, right? If you have a spare monitor, you can just directly connect it. It will be visible. The screen will be visible to you. But most of the cases, we do not have this monitor, right? So this connecting it using a Wi-Fi is definitely a good idea. That's why I have taken this method. Otherwise, there is another straightforward method by which you can directly connect it to a HDMI cable and start using. But for that, you need another uh, monitor screen, right? Anyways, what so far we have, uh, I mean, we have understood in this session is accessing the Raspberry Pi screen, right? So now there are two steps remaining. One is how we can see the screen, as I have just shown you in the coming slides, right? I have just shown you now. And second is how we can implement MQTT on this Raspberry Pi board. Okay, so these are the two steps which we are going to see from slide number 40 to maybe around slide number I think 20 or 21, right? So these are the two steps what we are going to see, right? So that's how we will do this session. First is how we can access the Raspberry Pi, and then how we can implement the MQTT on it, right? So these are just a simple steps you can follow, and I hope after this session or maybe during this session you'll be able to digest. Okay, we can, if we are provided with the Raspberry Pi, you can actually do some workaround, and you can just access this Raspberry Pi and use it for your for your application, whatever data transmission, right? So a simple data transmission we will try to finish off in this workshop using two Raspberry Pi and one laptop. Okay. Okay, so coming back to this screen, let me try to show you how we can see the actual Raspberry Pi screen, right? When I'm saying actual Raspberry Pi, I mean a screen like a Windows operating system, right? Because this screen, most of us might not be familiar with the Unix, and this looks like some cumbersome thing, like, right? So you need to have some understanding of Unix in order to. But once we have the screen, proper screen, we can browse it like our normal operating system, right? Although you should have some understanding of Unix in that case also, but still it will be a simpler, right? We can connect to a Wi-Fi just by clicking on a Wi-Fi button or something like that, right? So we'll just see how we can now see the window, right? So for that, I need to do some changes in this Raspberry Pi, right, in order to enable the screen resolution and enable the remote access in this Raspberry Pi, right? So what are the steps for that? So these are the snapshots of what we have to perform. So what I will do, I will simply write a command here, right? Just to repeat this, whatever I am writing now, is it in Raspberry Pi, right? So now my Raspberry Pi is working, and so whatever I am writing here is in Raspberry Pi and not on my computer screen, right? So whatever changes I am doing it in the Raspberry Pi. Okay. Yeah. So these are some of the options, and so these are some of the options you can see. If you want to connect to a different network, you can connect to a different network, right? And what we are trying to do is we are trying to change the screen resolution. So interfacing option, and then I will do VNC. So VNC is a remote access of this Raspberry Pi. So once I click on this, so it is asking, would you like the VNC server to be enabled? I will just say yes. Okay. So the VNC server is enabled, which means now I can do the remote desktop, right? What remote desktop? I can do the remote desktop of my Raspberry Pi. Okay. So now the VNC server is enabled. Okay. So this is one step, right? And then I have to, so these are the 4 steps which I just went through, and these are the snapshot of those 4 steps. If you want to go and do it, you can definitely follow these steps. It's a very simple and very straightforward steps. I have put a snapshot of each and every step freehand so that you can just follow. And just to add on, we have to set some more resolution into it here, right? So what I can do is I need to change the resolution also. So resolution will be in advanced option, and this resolution. Okay, so these are just to change the resolution of this, but this is a mandatory step. Just let me show you. You have to select some of the resolution here, right? So you just select any. The resolution is set to OK, and then you just click. You can also explore different options out here, but for those who are really new to the Raspberry Pi board, I will suggest to go through in this sequence, right? Once you finish, it is saying, would you like to reboot now? So what is this reboot? It's a restart of my Raspberry Pi, okay? So I will say yes, and then it will start. Yeah, so now you can see remote site unexpectedly closed network connection. This screen is throwing away this message, right? Because I have reboot my Raspberry Pi, right? So I will say okay, and then we will just give a minute to Raspberry Pi to reboot, and then we'll reconnect to Raspberry Pi, okay? So so these 2 slides actually we are configuring in order to see this screen, right? Soon I will show you this screen, and it will be visible to you on your computer. I mean on my computer, right? So now yeah, so this was step number 8, where I configured this resolution for the remote desktop thing, right? And then this is some more steps in it. Yeah. So okay, so that now I have to install another software which is also open source and it's freely available. This is a VNC viewer. So if you might recall, we have actually enabled the VNC here, right? So that is for the remote desktop thing, right? So now what I am trying to do is I'm trying to access that Raspberry Pi screen as a whole. Just now I was showing you the console window. I mean the shell, that black window, right? Now I want to see that Raspberry Pi as a whole uh, monitor, like a monitor, right, on my screen, right? So just let me put a note out here. We do not require any external monitor here. Just a laptop will work, and I will show you the screen on laptop. Okay, on my laptop I will show you the screen. So for that, what we have to do, we have to install this VNC viewer, right? And we already know the IP address of this Raspberry Pi, right? So what we will do, I will just provide the IP address of this Raspberry Pi, and then we will see how the screen of the Raspberry Pi looks like, right? So before that, let me just check if I can connect back to my Raspberry Pi. Okay, so now when I restarted this session, it is asking login in, right? So let me just reconnect it, although it is not required. This step was just to verify whether my Raspberry Pi has rebooted or not, right? So Raspberry, right? Okay, so now I am inside the Raspberry Pi, but I am no more going to use this black screen, right? Because I've already set down the, I've already enabled the VNC, that is my remote desktop, right? So let's see how I can see the remote desktop of Raspberry Pi, okay? So let me try to open this VNC viewer, right? So what is this VNC viewer? I've already installed on my system. So for those who are actually following the workshop and actually doing the hands-on right now, they can install this VNC viewer and they can open this up, right? So this is how it will look like when you install this VNC viewer. Okay, so let me just show you again. So let me just read out this step number 9 is a download and install VNC viewer, install it, open it and type IIIT or Raspberry Pi in it, right? And it will ask for the username and password. So I have this open, and let me give you 192.168, and this is the IP address of my Raspberry Pi, which we have configured in the previous slides. Okay, 145. This was the IP address of my. Okay, so once I click on it, this is how it looks like. Okay, this is how it looks like. So once I is asking for some authentication. So once I continue it, it is asking me the password. So what is this password for? This is for the Raspberry Pi. So let me just uh, uh, recall. We are trying to access the screen of Raspberry Pi. Okay, so for that we have used VNC viewer, and we have previously enabled the remote desktop of Raspberry Pi. Okay, so let me give you the same uh, uh, password. Okay, so yeah, it's a Raspberry. Okay, so the username was Pi and the password was Raspberry. So once I click OK, yeah, so what is seen is this. You can see it on my screen. So this is my Raspberry Pi. Okay, so it will ask you now. This is like your original screen. If you just enlarge it, so yeah, so the whole screen what you are visible is that of Raspberry Pi, right? It's saying welcome to Raspberry Pi, and yeah, definitely it will ask for some settings which you can do it. You can see the IP address it is showing in here is 43.145, which we have logged in at the time in VNC viewer, right? Now this is something like how we work on I mean our Windows desktop, right? Although this is a different, the Unix based system is definitely different, right? So this is how Unix system looks like, right? So now you don't have to go in that black screen, right? You can just ignore that black screen. This you can access from any computer who are connected to that hotspot network. Any computer, right? um, the only thing is you should be connected to that hotspot network, right? So now I have this hotspot network and all the devices are connected to this hotspot network, to my this hotspot network, right? So now what is the advantage of using this screen? This is definitely a good graphical user interface is very good, and it's a user friendly, right? You can just change, or you can see the network, you see which network it is connected to. It is connected to the same hotspot network. I told you in the previous step, ASDF, and the password was 1234567, right? So now, since I'm in IIIT Kota, I'm giving this workshop from IIIT. You can see there are a lot of you can choose any, and then you can definitely select, right? Also, if you want to Google out in this, you can open up this browser. So now this is similar to your Windows screen. Like you can see the videos, you can open YouTube, you can do whatever functionalities you can. Right? So now, yeah, so now you can see I have just clicked on the browser. It is connected to internet, and the internet is actually routing to my hotspot. I am using a data SIM, and it is actually routing through that, right? You can definitely change it accordingly, whatever your needs are, right? You can also type Google and whatever thing you want to access. So this is now a computer in all, right? So you can access this. So what I'm accessing here is this whole screen is my Raspberry Pi, right? So this is a small Raspberry Pi board. You can see this Raspberry Pi, I have not connected this to any other wire except this power cable. Okay, except this power cable. This is going into the power socket, right? And you can access this screen as you it is visible to you on this on this on the shared screen, right? So this is how you can access this Raspberry Pi from any monitor, any computer, right? So I'm accessing this from my laptop. So these are the steps to access Raspberry Pi from, right? And now you can definitely use it like a normal Unix system. Okay, so that's why this Raspberry Pi is very good, because it's totally a computer in all, and you can definitely write uh, good uh, processing codes, and you can do good processing depending on the need of your application. I mean, what is the need, what is the requirement of your app? I can show you some of the applications which we try to develop, some real-time application which we try to develop using this Raspberry Pi, and of course BeagleBone Black, right? So we will I will show. So okay, so now you can see, and you can see the Bluetooth, because this Raspberry Pi also is Bluetooth enabled. You can access the Bluetooth. Now you don't have to go in that black screen and access that. You can access it here, from here. You can do whatever you want. If you want to access Google, you can access Google. If you want to access Netflix, whatever you can, right? So that's one thing. So I'll just close all these things, and what I will open now here is, I will try to open this again black screen, right? uh, so that's the first step of let me just minimize this window, and let me minimize this. Okay. So this is where we are at, right? We can see uh, the remote screen of my Raspberry Pi. Okay, so similarly you can connect different Raspberry Pis, and you can access many Raspberry Pis. Let me try to show you another Raspberry Pi also screen. Let me try to show you. So this is another Raspberry Pi which I have already prepared it for this workshop, and let me connect it to a wire. This is a power wire. Okay, okay, so now this is another Raspberry Pi. So now I have two Raspberry Pis with me, right? I will show you two screens on the uh, on the shared on the shared presentation slides, right? So these are the two Raspberry Pis which I have connected, right? So we will go back, and we will see actually what we are trying to implement now. So once I have connected another Raspberry Pi, you can see my my computer, my mobile hotspot network says there are three devices connected. You can see there are three devices connected. Okay, okay, so you can see there are three devices which are connected to this, right? So I will read in the IP address of the third device, that is my recently connected Raspberry Pi. So the IP address, and then I will use the VNC viewer again to see the, so that's my VNC viewer, right? And this is the IP address of my 143 is the IP address of my Raspberry Pi 2, right? So now I have two Raspberry Pi. So once I connect this, okay, it's again asking the password. The username and password remains the same. You can change it if you want, right? Okay, so now this is how it looks like. Okay, so okay, okay, so let me show you two Raspberry Pis. So this is Raspberry Pi 1 and this is Raspberry Pi 2. Okay, so you can access it simultaneously, these two Raspberry Pi from your laptop. So I have a laptop, I have two Raspberry Pis, right, and a mobile phone for a hotspot network. You can also use a Wi-Fi. So that's the idea, right? So what is visible to you on the screen, this black screen, by the way, is Raspberry Pi, right? So these are the two Raspberry Pis, right? So this is part one of the workshop. Part two will be very small. What we are going to do, we are going to implement MQTT, right? What is MQTT? It's a machine to machine data connectivity, right? That's what we learn in session one and session two of day one, right? So this is how we are going to relate the theoretical aspect and how we can do this in Raspberry Pi, right? So now you can see the screens of Raspberry Pi, and let me quickly yeah, so let me quickly show you what we were actually trying to do. So we have a subscriber, we have a broker, and then we have a publisher, right? So I have a laptop, I have two Raspberry Pis which are now ready to work, right? So we need to now okay, so now we are working on MQTT part. Okay, so now my Raspberry Pis are ready. So this whole architecture now is ready. When I'm saying architecture, I have not yet assigned them as a subscriber, broker, and publisher, but hardwares are ready. Okay, my laptop was already there, and I have make these two Raspberry Pis ready, right? So you can follow the steps, and similarly you can install all the Raspberry Pis, right? Okay, and these all are connected to a single hotspot network, right? So just now I showed you three networks connected, so which is a laptop and two Raspberry Pi. So this is a laptop and two Raspberry Pis, right? Okay, so let me tell you another step. So now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make, okay, I am trying to make one Raspberry Pi as a broker, okay, and one Raspberry Pi I will use it as a subscriber, and one I will use it as a publisher. So I will transmit a message, a publisher will transmit a message, and it will be received by a subscriber. Okay, that's the idea now. So in order to fulfill these functionalities, what we will do is we will install Mosquito. What is this Mosquito? Actually, there are many applications which can be used to send and receive, but the simplest one what we are using on Raspberry Pi in order to implement MQTT is Mosquito, right? So what you can do is you can just simply go onto this website mqtt.org, and you can download the software, right? So you just have to download it, right? So what is this Mosquito? It's a software component. We in the beginning of the slides, in the beginning of the slide, we actually uh, uh, yeah, we actually, so broker is a software component, right? So we are trying to just uh, install those software components, right? And for that, one of the application is Mosquito, right? Which is again open source, and you can definitely use it for your programming and for your application to transmit data from one device to another device, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install Mosquito on all these three devices. Okay, that is my laptop, my Raspberry Pi, and my Raspberry Pi 2, right? So how do I do that, right? So let me recall. Mosquito is for MQTT. Now the Raspberry Pi part is over. MQTT, now I'm doing the MQTT part, right? So that is for that is will be done when I install Mosquito. Okay, so from this link I can download the Mosquito, and I have already done it on my system. So you have to install this on this. I will tell you how you can install it on Raspberry Pi for those who are not familiar of Unix system, right? And laptop is a very straightforward. You just have to download the application installer, and then you just double click on it. So yeah, so how to install Mosquito MQTT broker on laptop, right? So this is step number 11. Okay, so let me just what we are doing at this 19. We are trying to install Mosquito. Why I'm installing Mosquito? Because I have to implement MQTT at the application layer, right? Why we are installing MQTT? Because we have to use that protocol for our data communication from one machine to another machine, right? Where are the machines? We have three machines now: two Unix machines and one Windows machine, right? That is my two Raspberry Pi and one Windows system. Okay, so now I have to communicate between these two, the messages we can communicate, right? So it is like you can have any sensor, and that sensor can be connected to a Raspberry Pi, and that Raspberry Pi can transmit data to the server, that is anywhere wherever that system is, right? So you can use as per your application, right? But the basic functionality we are trying to learn in that, right? So here is the link. I mean, for those who want to try it later, you can definitely download Mosquito from here, and this is how it looks like when you click on this link. And when you install, just install it as a service, right? Just yeah, and when you, so this is a simple, so just choose this location, C program files and Mosquito, right? And it's a simple installer on Windows system. You just have to double click on the installer and click next, and the Mosquito will be installed on your computer. Okay, okay, yeah, I just saw a message. I will provide the PPT to all here. Okay, okay, so Yeah, so we are trying to install the Mosquito. I think we are running short of time, but hopefully I will be able to show you the transmission from one machine to another machine, right? So this is step number 11 as of now. So we are trying to install Mosquito for MQTT, right? Okay, next step is, so we have three devices now. On one device, that is on my laptop, I have already installed Mosquito. On this screen and this screen, yeah, you can definitely use different ways to install Mosquito, of course, sir. Yeah. So uh, now these are the two screens, right? You have to also install the Mosquito broker as well as Mosquito clients on those two Raspberry Pi, right? So you have to install those, and the command for that is you just can give sudo apt-get install Mosquito. That is on Raspberry Pi, right? So let me just quickly show you how you can install that. um, okay, so let me just close this. Yeah, this is so this is a terminal window. You can just copy paste these two. You just have to copy paste these two, and this Mosquito will be installed on your. Okay, yeah. So yeah. So now where I'm installing this Mosquito, I'm installing it on my Raspberry Pi. So this is Raspberry Pi, which we have actually configured just now in this whole workshop, right? So now I'm installing the Mosquito broker, and then I'll install the clients, right? And then we'll see we have few commands. So this Mosquito contains a lot of commands, right? We have this is a software, right? So I think it's written on C language or something like that, right? So we can learn how we can use this Mosquito. I will try to show you some basic transmission, publishing or subscribing steps, which you can see. I mean, from which you can see how the data is being transmitted, right? So here on Raspberry Pi, what we have just configured, I have installed Mosquito, and now I will also install the client, Mosquito client, right? So these are the few steps which we need to follow, and it's a simple step. We just have to copy paste. Okay, so yeah, we are using this Mosquito for just to implement this MQTT, right? Okay, so once it is ready, I mean, so I have also already installed this Mosquito in my Raspberry Pi 2. So now this is already ready. So both the Raspberry Pis, so this is a window 1 of Raspberry Pi 1, and this is window 2 of Raspberry Pi 2. Okay, so yeah, you can see the different resolution and all. You can definitely change. So these are two windows of my Raspberry Pis, right? Now I will show you how you can transmit uh, okay, I couldn't read the message just now. It appeared on my screen. It just got pressed, and yeah, I think, sir, you can. Yeah, it might be because of the, yeah, because it might not be registered to that firewall and all. Yeah, it is because of that. But anyways, you can definitely do it. I don't think so. It will be a problem. You can just download it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So instead of VNC, is it okay, or it has some disadvantages? Okay, we will take out these things, and let me just finish what is remaining here, right? So I think just a few steps remaining here in order to implement the MQTT. So it's pretty simple, right? I mean, the Mosquito, this software is taking care of all the internal part, right? As to how these messages is generated and how it is communicated to different layers of this protocol, right? Of the protocol stack, right? So we just have to install this, and now we will see the last step is how we can uh, transfer a message, right? So we will see how we can transfer a message from one device to another device, right? So for that, uh, let me try to open command prompt. Now what I'm opening this command prompt is that of my computer, right? Okay, so this is of my computer. Let me show you that. Okay, so now these are three different terminals of three different machines. So the top one where you can see the bright sunlight, it is of Raspberry Pis. There is two Raspberry Pis, and this black one is that of my computer, right? It's the command prompt, I mean the command shell of my laptop. So I will just, let me just copy paste the, yeah, I will just start this Mosquito server on my computer, right? So yeah, so as soon as you install, it is already started. So let me just show you. Start Mosquito. Okay, so now you just stop the Mosquito and now starting. Okay, so now this Mosquito is server is running on your system, on your laptop, right? So we have three devices. Let me recall: three devices, two Raspberry Pis and one laptop. So this is black screen is that of laptop, and then I will start also on Raspberry Pis, right? So let me start this SC Mosquito here. Let me just turn this. Okay, so this is step number 13, and let me, yeah, so this is how my system looks like, right? I've just put a snapshot of overall experimental setup. These are two Raspberry Pis, one Android phone. This is how we are replicating this whole device system, right? Subscriber, broker, and publisher, right? So this will be used as a subscriber, this will be used as a broker, another Raspberry Pi. This is my laptop, and this is the Android hotspot. So this is all what you need in order to uh, develop one small application where you can implement MQTT, right? So this is just the snapshot of what I did previously, and in order to show you how you can see the message exchange between these, let me try to run the Mosquito service on each Raspberry Pis, right? So I'll just copy paste this. Yeah, so it's already running, and yeah, so now I have just stopped the, let me start the Mosquito service on Raspberry Pi. Yeah, so now my Mosquito service is now started on Raspberry Pi. Let me do it on another Raspberry Pi as well. Right, so now I am accessing the direct terminal, direct screen. I mean, this is how Unix system is based on, right? I mean, this is how we access Unix system. We do it on terminals. I mean, right. So let me just start the Mosquito. Okay. Okay. So now after step, after slide number 23, my Mosquito service is enabled in all the three devices. Okay, what are those three devices? These are the three devices, right? Now let's see how the message transmission takes place. Okay, so this is one device. This is device number two. I don't know if I can just minimize this a bit so as to show you the overall picture. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so okay. So you see, this screen is Raspberry Pi 1. This screen is Raspberry Pi 2. And let me open my computer. This is my command prompt, which is my laptop, right? Let me open another command prompt without administrator rights. And here is that. Just close it. Okay. So these are the three different, as you can see on here. Yeah. Okay. Right. So this is the laptop. This black screen. This screen is Raspberry Pi 1, and this screen is Raspberry Pi 2, right? And you can see this is all. These are not connected. I mean, they are not interconnected. They are all wirelessly accessed using this hotspot network, right? You can see that, right? Let me now show you how you can transmit the data, right? So let me try to. So these are some of the steps. Like these are some of the commands which you can use out of that Mosquito. Um, client which we have just installed, right? So yeah, let me just publish from my laptop and let me subscribe from this Raspberry Pi. Let me make this a subscriber, right? So how I can do? Okay, so yeah, it's ready for subscribe. Okay, okay. So now this Raspberry Pi is ready to subscribe, means it's ready to receive a message from a publisher, right? So now I have made this Raspberry Pi as a subscriber, and another Raspberry Pi also I can make a subscriber, but it can receive data from different topic, right? As I mentioned in the previous slides, there can be different topics from the same sensor, right? So I will use this laptop and I will use two topics to transmit different data to these two Raspberry Pis, right? Let me just uh, paste. So now this is a subscriber. These two Raspberry Pis are in the subscriber mode. Yeah, just to give a 1 minute time, you can just understand. I mean, there is a lot of literature available. So what is this? This is we can use a command prompt. I mean, this is like a simple functions, right? Which when we have downloaded that Mosquito, right, we have certain commands which we can use to make our device as a subscriber or as a publisher, right? So we just have to read out about these things. I mean, I'm not covering everything. I'm using the simple publisher and subscriber out of that Mosquito client which we have installed, right? So you can see here, this is news one is my this my this the channel which I'm subscribing to, right? This is a news one, right? Topic, basically it is called as topic in this terminology, subscriber and publisher and topic, right? And broker, right? So this is news one is the channel which I am subscribed to. Here also I am subscribed to news one, but I can change the name. I am just now subscribed to news, right? Which is just you can give any name, right? This is any name, and this is the server. This is my broker. This is 192.168 is one of the Raspberry Pis. I'm creating it as a server, right? So I will be connected to this as a subscriber. Mosquito underscore subscriber will give you will make your device as a subscriber. Mosquito underscore subscriber will make it as a subscriber and for another Raspberry Pi. However, the topic is different, right? And the final step is, let me make this as a publisher. Let me try to publish some data. Let me try to publish some data here. Okay. Let me just copy paste this. Not able to copy it. Just give me, I'm not able to copy it. Okay. Okay, so yeah, you just have to copy this for publishing. I don't know why I'm not able to copy it. Okay. Yeah, just give me a second. Let me try copying it. I'm not able to copy this. Okay. So let me paste it here, right? So let me open the 3 windows here. So let me show you the final step for MQTT. Okay, so this is a Raspberry Pi window, as I already described, and this is subscribed to news one, right? And now I'm publishing it on news one. You can see here I'm publishing this data, right? So whatever I'm doing is I'm doing it on a command line. You can definitely write a Python code, you can get your continuous data and you can simultaneously, but whatever I'm showing you as a demonstration, I'm doing it on a command line, right? So so this is a data, right? You can see this is a data. So let's say value 1 and value 2 has some it can be either temperature data or pressure or anything, right? Any sensor data you can have, and you can get it from any source, and you can so let me so this is news 1. Let me subscribe this to news 1 and let me see if it okay. So it's saying it's not recognized. So just one more step which I've already mentioned in the slides. So we have to go in the folder where this is installed. Okay, yeah, so those file settings and all we have to take care. So now I'm in this mosquito folder. Let's see, here you can see the data is published to news 1 queue. That is the news 1 channel, right? News 1, this topic is news 1. You can see it here. You see it is not published here on Raspberry Pi, which is subscribed to news, right? Let me see if I can transmit this data to news. I have to change it, the topic name as, and now you see. Okay, I have not subscribed yet. Okay, now you see, you will see the data. Okay, so now you see, you can see the data. The difference is I have changed the topic name, right? So let me try to transmit on news 1. Whatever data you want, you can change it to anything. Let me write IIIT Kota. You can see the data. You see, you can why it went to this subscriber, because it is connected to, it is actually subscribed to this topic actually, which is news topic, and I have transmitted this data at news topic, right? Let me try to show you some more, right? IIIT Kota, India. Yeah, so you can see the machine which is subscribed to news 1 has received that IIIT Kota India, right? And the machine subscribed to news 1 is not. So likewise, you can actually use a lot of you can transmit your data. Whatever I have shown is on the command line definitely, but you can use, you can write a Python script, and in order to use it continuously, you can write a Python script, and for in Python you can use a PAHO MQTT library, which will do this functionality for you. Right? So this is how uh, I have shown you. Okay, so yeah, yeah. So yeah, this is how, I mean, we can transmit data from a machine to another machine using a protocol called MQTT, which is one of the application layer protocol in IoT systems, right? So now you can develop your own system. Let me try to show you. So yeah, so that's it. I mean, that's how I wanted to show you. I mean, how you can implement one of the application layer protocol, which was explained in nicely explained by Professor Pilli in session 1, right? So that's it. I hope this will be useful to you. And so I just wanted to show you some you see, we have just when I was doing my PhD, we have actually developed this on Raspberry Pi. So it's a real-time positioning system, and we can actually implement something like that. And apart from it, we are using Raspberry Pi to generate a tracking system using some off-the-shelf components, right? So yeah, and definitely we are using MQTT to receive this on our computer server, to display it on a screen, to display the coordinates. So yeah, so it's like the basic application which I try to show you in this a small workshop or a lab session. I hope this will be useful to you. And yeah, you can connect multiple sensors to this Raspberry Pi. It's a very powerful computer, right? And it's easy to use also. I mean, once you are familiarized a bit, right, then you can definitely start using it. And this is how it looks like. It's a nice device, and definitely we all can play around with it. And yeah, so I think I hope that's it from my side. And what we have covered so far is let me show you this picture again. One Raspberry Pi is a subscriber. Maybe the last slide we're not able to do because of the time. Okay. So yeah. So Parikshit sir, I think that's all from my side, and I think it was until 3:30. I have actually exceeded the time. Yeah, but hopefully, can you hear me, sir? Parikshit sir.
Sir, I have a question. How did you make this layout, the last which you have showed us to us?
The last.
That layout, anchor node and all. The experimental result, primary experimental result of your PhD.
Oh, okay,
Anchor
okay,
node and all.
okay.
How do you make it? I mean, what are the software you're using for that?
Let me open it and so that it's clear.
It was a wonderful presentation, sir. Sir, I remember my postgraduate days because I did my project with the ST Electronics. So the way you taught to us is the same way that they have taught to me also in the way back in 2009. So we have used this Raspberry in 2009 it was
Okay.
launched with the ST
Oh.
Nixon.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. It's my pleasure. I hope this will be useful to all who are present here. I just try to make things a bit simpler, actually, so that everybody can follow. Yeah, thank you for your comments, sir, and feedback. So, are you talking about this positioning system?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So this is
Yes,
actually a
sir.
real-time indoor positioning system, sir. For this, we are using a device called MDEK1001, which is by Decawave company. So they are actually providing an indoor positioning system. They are actually providing a device DWM1001, right? And it is actually
Let me note down. Let me note down, sir, what you are telling because it is a good thing that what I have seen.
okay.
Sir,
So
could
yeah,
you repeat it? What device is this?
yeah. So it is actually, sir, DWM1001, which is by Decawave company, and this is used for indoor positioning and navigation. So fundamentally, it is using ultra wideband impulse radio as a positioning technique, as a wireless technology, in order to locate any person in indoors, right? So this is actually a hardware
Right.
DWM1001, right? And you can definitely make out a whole indoor positioning and navigation system using this device. And these are some of the experimental results. If you can see, this is a scenario. I mean, the person is traveling and you can track it very precisely in the order of 20 centimeter or 30 centimeter in a room of around 20 by 20 meters square. So yeah, so that was a project we did. I mean, I did after my PhD, and we use these Raspberry Pis and all those things in order to implement this MQTT server and a lot of things, right? Yeah, so we used
It is a
MQTT
very
as
good thing. It will be used in the smart home as well, smart home automation and the supply chain
exactly,
as
sir.
well.
Exactly, sir. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, sir. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. So Parikshit, sir, can you hear us? I think the next session will start at 3:45. I don't know if he can hear me. And so let me just go through the comments. If okay, okay, I think Parikshit sir got disconnected. He might have to reconnect. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, I thank you all for attending this. Let me just scroll through if
Ankush,
yes.
good evening. I'm here.
Okay.
Take the session next session.
Okay, Namita ma'am. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm
Namita
here.
ma'am. Okay. So, ma'am, can I just exit this session? I think Parikshit sir has got some connection issue.
Yeah,
He
no
cannot.
issue, no issue. I'll take care.
Ma'am, I will just yeah. Okay. I will just okay. Okay, I think I have almost covered all the
Yeah,
questions.
let them ask
Speaker.
their questions if they have. I'm waiting. No issues.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. So Namita ma'am, I think when if there are, is there any simulations for Raspberry Pi like for